In the Getting Started section, I'm going to be showing you how to get your website live on the internet, how to have WordPress all set up and ready to go. We're not going to have customized anything on the website yet, just have gotten everything set up. Then in the WordPress overview section, I'm pretty much going to show you all the main features of WordPress and how to use them. Then in the web resources design and SEO section, pretty much going to show you everything outside of WordPress that still will be useful to you in creating your own website. The next sections will be focused more on doing and not so much on explaining concepts and such. So creating a resume and portfolio website, creating a blog, and then creating a business site. In these sections, I'm not going to be talking as much about explaining certain concepts and what certain things mean, but more so I'll just be saying, okay, now let's install this plugin, we're going to use this theme, we're going to do this. And I still will explain the reasoning behind a lot of things and kind of reiterate certain subjects, but for the most part, it's just going to be doing things step by step, not so much stopping to explain concepts. That being said, when we get to these sections where we're actually creating a website, I'm going to assume that you already know everything or have gone over the lectures in these previous sections. And so, for instance, there will be times when we have to install different plugins. And since in the WordPress overview section, there's already a lecture about plugins, well, when we get to, this resume and portfolio site and we need to install this Easy Updates Manager plugin, for instance, I'm just going to say, let's go install this plugin. I'm not going to necessarily stop and say, this is what a plugin is, this is why it's useful. I'll assume that you have already looked over that kind of stuff. For that reason, it's probably best that you actually go through the different lectures and videos in the order that they're in. However, if you come across a topic and it's really boring because you completely know everything about it, then feel free to skip it. If it comes up again and maybe you realize you don't know it that well, you can always come back to it. So say for themes in WordPress, if you already know a lot about WordPress themes and you get to the lecture and you're not learning anything new, you're getting bored out of your mind, then yeah, just skip it and you can always come back to it later if you need more information about it. The last thing to keep in mind is that for the sections where we actually create a website, like creating a resume and portfolio, if you want to follow along, make sure you've already completed everything in the Getting Started section. And the reason for that is because when we get to these sections on creating a resume and portfolio, we're going to pretty much pick up where we left off in the Getting Started section. So I'm not going to register a domain name again, set up hosting again, and install WordPress again, these types of things, because it's the same every single time you do it. So installing WordPress, it's going to be exactly the same process for a resume site or for a blog or for a business site. So there's no point in me doing it over and over again. So yeah, if you want to follow along and play around in WordPress, start building your own portfolio site as you're going through that section, just know that we're starting after everything in here is complete. So yeah, if you want to follow along on your own, then just make sure you've done everything taught here in the Getting Started section first.